Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. And this is my performance review of the Nike Kobe 3 Protro. So this shoe is freaking expensive. It comes in at $210, which is, come on Nike, what are you guys doing? You know what I mean? Like, just lower the price, please. It's just, everything's so expensive nowadays, you know? But yeah, the Kobe 3 Protro, I've never tried the OG, so I'm not going to be comparing the Protro to the OG. I'm just going to be doing a full-on performance review of the Kobe 3 Protro. So yeah, let's get it started right off with the Tracciones. And as far as like, I mean, they said they changed up the outsole, you know what I mean, and made it better, but they pretty much changed like the squares here in the forefoot. So if you look at the original Kobe 3, it's just squares, and then the Kobe 3 Protro, we got squares within squares. So that's updated, and I mean, I guess, you know, if you want a retro, you don't want it to be changed really at all in terms of design. And also for Protro, like, you don't want to change it up too much because people want to still feel nostalgic and people want to feel like, oh, this is a shoe that I got like back then, you know what I mean? So I guess, you know, changing it very subtly is a good thing, but yeah, don't say it's like a very updated outsole though, you know what I mean? But anyways, how's the traction? It's not good. It's not that good. The bite is not amazing. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Even when I was playing on clean court, I would say it's like it's a pretty okay, pretty solid bite, but it's not great. You know what I mean? Like, I was playing with shoes that have amazing traction, like, you know, the Curry Series 7, the Curry Fox 2, you know, even like the Jaw 3, also the Sabrina 3, I was playing alongside those shoes as well, and like the Zat 3, and all those other shoes have a very, very nice bite. And once I switched into this shoe, it just never really had an amazing bite. So when I first got it, it just wasn't a great bite, you know what I mean? And once I broke it in, it started to get a little bit better, especially on a clean court, but still not top tier, which kind of sucks, you know what I mean? So yeah, the overall bite is okay, and once you put dust into the equation, it starts to slide around a little bit more. So still, also dust performance isn't the best. Slightly dusty court, pretty easy wipe, and I was good to go, and I had okay stops, just like on a clean court. But very, very dusty court, very affected, yeah, and I just did not have an amazing bite. So yeah, the traction is definitely not this shoe's strong suit, which kind of sucks, you know what I mean? Because Kobe's usually have amazing traction. So yeah, maybe instead of, you know, updating the actual pattern, the outsole pattern, give us a different outsole compound. You know what I mean? Like, give it, like, Nike, please just do some R&D and give us like GCU or something, you know, GCU from Leaning and Wave Wade, or, you know, like RPU, rigid polyurethane from like 361 degrees, or you know, Serious Player Only does the same thing with like SPS, you know what I mean, with the SPS outsole. It's like a polyurethane resin, you know what I mean? They would, you know, they would have changed the rubber compound, given us like something amazing. That would have been nice. But yeah, the traction, not amazing. I mean, if you're looking for like a very supportive shoe and you don't really care about traction too much and still has okay bites, then you'll be finding this shoe, right? But for me, I need really good traction, and this shoe didn't have amazing traction. Also, this shoe isn't super squeaky, you know. When I first got it, it was very quiet. You know what I mean? Not super squeaky, but once I broke it in, it started to squeak just a tiny bit more, but still not a very, very loud squeak, especially compared to like the Jordan 40, right? The Jordan 40 has a very nice loud hyper squeak. This shoe, not super squeaky, of course. Squeak has nothing to do with performance. As far as the durability goes, also this shoe probably isn't the best because the grooves aren't super deep. You know what I mean? And I get the rubber isn't super soft, but it's not a super deep pattern, you know what I mean? So I definitely don't feel like it'll be the best for outdoor courts. So yeah, the traction, pretty mediocre, which kind of sucks. And also you can see the carbon fiber plate. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, overall pretty smooth. One thing I do appreciate about this high top design is that there is a cutout here in the back of the shoe so that I can, you know, do this. You know what I mean? To do this motion and have freedom of movement this way instead of, you know, this way, which is good for ankle support, right? So that felt nice. And also, I mean, it is a pretty edged out shape, but it's not like super clunky to me, because I don't know why it's not clunky though, which is weird, you know what I mean? Because it's like super caged with this outsole and it's like stiff too, but then like didn't feel super clunky to me for some reason. Maybe because it's a little bit curved here. You know what I mean? A little bit of a curved shape, and also you do have the zoom struggle, you know, which we'll get into. So it felt okay here in the heel, and then here in the forefoot, yeah, we have a pretty nice curved shape, and here in the forefoot, So actually pretty stiff, you know what I mean? And then also you have a pretty nice kind of like springy feel, very good torsion support as well. So the overall shoe, it has a very nice old school feel, like a pretty stiff feel underfoot. However, we still have a nice bit of forefoot flex, which I do appreciate. So overall, heel to toe transition is pretty smooth, and also you have a little bit more of a stiffer and springier feel, especially here in the forefoot, especially on like, you know, your first step and stuff like that, you know. So there is a heel to toe transition. Moving on to the cushioning setup. So yeah, it's your typical full-length Zoom Strobel setup. So if you like full-length Zoom Strobel, then you'll like this shoe, right? So this shoe is using full-length Zoom Strobel with a Cushlon 3.0 midsole underneath that. And I feel like, you know, with the Cushlon 3.0 midsole, they made it, you know, pretty thin. So you can't really feel too much of a compression from that. You know, especially comparing to, where is my Jordan 40? Especially comparing to the Jordan 40, because the Jordan 40 is using Zoom X underneath the full-length Zoom Strobel, and you can definitely feel the Zoom X. You know, it gives more compression, especially here in the heel. But with the Kobe 3 Protro, I feel like, you know, again, this shoe actually has better court feel than the Jordan 40. You know what I mean? So it's still not amazing court feel. I would say it's around average, like still pretty good, but nothing amazing. You know, especially compared to like, you know, shoes that have really good court feel, like the Kai 2 Speed or the Sabrina 3. You know, but you do get way better cushion compared to like the Sabrina 3, you know? So again, you have a crazy amount of compression for the entire footbed because of the Zoom Strobel unit. You have a crazy amount of bounce and also really good impact protection. You got a tiny bit of heel compression. Although the heel is very caged, I can feel the Zoom Strobel unit and a little bit of the Cushlon 3.0, just a tiny bit here in the heel. Definitely not as much as the Jordan 40, right? So yeah, it's basically your typical, you know, full-length Zoom Strobel setup. You know, which if you do like that, then you'll very much enjoy the shoe, and I did enjoy the shoe, especially probably comparing to what the shoe originally had, which is a forefoot and heel zoom unit. So yeah, there is the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the upper, so yeah, they're using a little bit of leather right here in the forefoot, but it's like kind of cheap for $210, guys. What is this? You know what I mean? It feels kind of cheap. One thing I do appreciate though is that it's not like a super thick feeling leather material, but it's kind of flimsy feeling. You know what I mean? It like doesn't feel like a genuine, like very buttery smooth leather, you know? So that kind of sucks. But one thing that I do like about it is that it does feel very supportive whilst still having a pretty thin feel. You know what I mean? Obviously nothing as thin as like, you know, the Curry Series 7, you know what I mean? But still not super bulky feeling here in the toe box. Jordan 40 definitely has a way nicer feeling material, especially for the quality, but it's a little bit thicker, you know, and also just a tiny bit stiffer, but it's just way better for quality, and this shoe is $5 cheaper than the Kobe 3s. So yeah, you get way better quality for the Jordan 40s. And then the most striking feature about this shoe, of course, is this kind of like net structure, right? So this design is actually inspired by a basketball net, which is kind of cool. So for the actual Protro, they made it a mesh material, right? It's really thin and see-through, and also does have really good airflow through this mesh, right? So that's really nice. And then also obviously with this plastic, you have better support, but the plastic is actually a lot softer than, look at this. It's a really soft material, so it conforms to your foot still very well. There's very minimal break-in time as well. But also like going outside, look at this. Like going outside, it doesn't really stretch at all. It has really good support that way. But then like movement, like, you know, when you move with your foot, it moves really well with your foot. It almost feels like a kind of like a second skin, you know? It does have a little bit more of a bulkier feel than I would like usually, but I do like how it feels. Also, underneath the tongue, you have a nice like mesh material as well, which does improve the ventilation a little bit. Also, for the tongue, we have pretty minimal padding. Like, it's not super well padded, which kind of sucks. It's also a half booty construction tongue, giving you a better overall one-to-one fit. And then here in the back of the shoe, of course, we do have a nice bit of padding because it is a high top as well. So you can feel all the padding going all the way into like your ankle area as well, like here, and here, because with a low top, you know what I mean, like a low top design, you have a little bit of padding like on top right here. That's it, you know what I mean? But with a high top design, you have padding going throughout the entire kind of like high top. You know, all this material has padding, you know what I mean? So it just feels way cozier, way bulkier than it should as well, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't really like playing in high tops too much, but if you like that cozy feel in the back of the shoe, then you'll definitely like it here, right? So, yeah, it feels nice on foot. It feels supportive. It feels a little bit thicker than I would like, but it has a nice soft feel, you know what I mean? So I definitely don't mind it, but again, with this leather quality for $210, that kind of sucks, you know? So there is the upper there. Moving on to the fit. So I went true to my Nike size, and this shoe fits me pretty dang well. So all my Nike shoes have been fitting pretty short, so I go up half a size pretty much for all my Nike shoes. So that's why I'm saying true to my Nike size. But yeah, I went true to my Nike size in this shoe, and it has a very nice, snug, like pretty much perfect fit. So width-wise, it is slightly narrow. You know, I can definitely feel my pinky toe is just like right there, but it's not squeezing and it's not like uncomfortable or anything. It's just like kind of snug there, which I do like. So slightly narrow fit. Also here in the toe box is slightly snug as well, right? The material does go kind of over my toes, but it's not like right there. And also I can curl my toes up just a tiny bit, but it's not like super snug to the point where I can't do that at all. And especially with this leather material, you would think that it's not forgiving at all. So it has a nice kind of like static fit, you know what I mean? Compared to like shoes like this, where the material is just really forgiving and soft. And even though it's a snug fit, I can still curl my toes up a lot, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit different of a feel, and also lengthwise, going true to my Nike size, I'm good to go as well. There's a little bit of length, you know, just a tiny bit, but overall, it's a very nice length for me. So yeah, if you want a nice snug fit, then you should be fine going true to your Nike size. And now moving on to the support and lockdown. I mean, look at this shoe, guys, you know what I mean? So as far as the lateral containment goes, I was good to go. I mean, my foot is not coming out of the footbed at all, you know? So you don't really have a sidewall, but the overall material is supportive enough, you know what I mean? So yeah, my foot's not coming out of the footbed here. Also here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter, but the thing is, it's like not a super stiff feeling material, which is kind of surprising, but I didn't have any issues with a lateral containment or anything like that. Also, lateral stability, look at that. Look at how wide this shoe is, and also look at this freaking outrigger, guys. You can see just how sharp it is. So lateral stability is very good, and also obviously because of the high top nature of this shoe, you have really good ankle support. And obviously ankle support, you know what I mean? It's ankle support, so you're never completely safe from rolling your ankle, but this does give you a very nice restrictive feel if you like that. But I really don't. And there was a leaked image of a Kobe 3 Protro low, which I do like, but probably not gonna get because again, the traction isn't amazing, you know? But yeah, it does restrict movement this way. You know what I mean? So you're not gonna roll your ankle too easily, especially with the crazy sharp outrigger. So that's really, really nice, you know? But again, it does feel pretty bulky because of that, because you have all this, and you know, it's kind of like a stiffer material, and you have a lot of restriction in your ankle mobility, which again, I don't like either. But also, one thing I do like is the open heel part, which does give you mobility this way, because some shoes, they actually go up all the way. And with this material like not being open, first of all, sometimes they make it really stiff, and then because you're doing this type of movement, that material goes right into your Achilles. It's very, very uncomfortable, right? But with that also, you can't move your foot this way either too much as well. So it's like, why would you make that? But again, they made this open here in the back of the heel, which I do like. So yeah, very, very good ankle support. And literally, I can't think of any, I don't see any shoes. No modern shoe has a high top design. Literally every single shoe that's out for basketball is a low top. So, I mean, I guess if you like high tops and you like that kind of like old school feel, then you'll like this. So, yeah, support and lockdown, very, very nice. And then moving on to the weight of the shoe. This shoe is freaking heavy. It feels heavy, it feels bulky, and not super responsive, right? So, yeah, it comes in at 14.85 ounces. Let's check the other shoe. 14.8 ounces, right? So, yeah, the average weight of my shoes is around 12.5 ounces, but you know, as far as like modern day basketball shoes for the past like couple years, shoes have been getting extremely light. So I feel like the average, like the modern average is like 11.5 to 12 ounces, right? So this is 14 ounces, and being in the 14 ounce range, this shoe is freaking heavy, you know? So it's heavy, it's bulky, especially here in the ankle area. I really don't like these restriction as well, so that also kind of bothered me. And the cushion is okay, you know what I mean? I don't mind the full length zoom strobe. It doesn't feel too much. I mean, sometimes it feels too much at times, but when I want that feel, it feels nice, right? But traction definitely wasn't the best. Like when I was playing on a really clean court, I didn't really mind it all too much. You know, it still had an okay bite, but definitely, again, not a top tier bite. So yeah, I just never really felt super quick and responsive in this shoe. So yeah, there is the weight there. Moving on to the ventilation, surprisingly, it's actually okay. You know what I mean? Like here in the toe box, nothing, and also here in the ankle area, this is actually kind of hot here. But like here in the midfoot, you actually have pretty good airflow right through this like basketball net material, and also through the tongue here. So it wasn't super hot, but also wasn't terrible for ventilation, which is really nice, you know, because you would think this shoe would be very, very hot. So there's the ventilation there. Moving on to the aesthetics. I feel like it looks pretty good. Yeah, I actually really like the design. It looks very unique with the basketball net design. And also all white just looks really nice. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, not a huge fan. I really didn't like playing in this shoe because it's just not my style of shoe. It has that old school feel. And I thought I would like it. I mean, I did appreciate it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of like 20 years ago, you know what I mean? But you know, we've since moved on, and for me, I like a more minimal low top shoe, you know what I mean? So for me, also for guards, I definitely wouldn't recommend it because, you know, first of all, the traction isn't the best, and you have a lot of stuff going on here, and it's a little bit bulkier, it's a little bit heavier than I would like, or a lot heavier than I would like. So if you're a bigger dude though, and you like that old school feel with really good ankle support, this is gonna be one of the best options you can get. You know what I mean? So big dudes, you should be fine. Guards, probably not the best option. You know, maybe when the low top version comes out, it'll be a better option. It definitely will be a better option because first of all, it'll be lighter, a lot less restrictions and mobility as well. But again, the traction just isn't the best, you know? So if you're guarding, you need crazy traction, it's not gonna be great, probably even in the Kobe 3 Protro low. So yeah, that about concludes my performance review of the Nike Kobe 3 Protro. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I try to leave in the link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.